here. She has coached and consulted, taught and mentored many back to good health. Another life-changing experience, she now educates midlife individuals maintain good cognitive function, living independently on their own terms into and beyond their wisdom years, dementia-free. Because if you think you can, you are right. And if you think you cannot, you are also right. Please join me to welcome Alexi Bracey. All right. Welcome, Alexi. I'm really honored to have you here, and I am excited about the conversation, Your Memory Matters. And really, the point of this is, my own experience and why I was open to having you on my show, because it really plagues a lot of us when we start to age. But I had mine as a youth. And we have a similar story. I had a pituitary tumor. It was benign, but I had the choice of drugs, surgery, and I was in my late 40s, and I really wasn't excited about being on drugs for the rest of my life, so I prayed. I said, what am I going to do, God? And I got told prayer, fasting, cleanses. I altered my diet. I altered my mindset, and over a period of years, I beat it, right? Thank God. It's gone. And I found that the residues, the memory loss, all the challenges that came with that were challenges. And there are ways to mitigate, to be able to manage through that. And that's why I'm excited for you to share your story, because you had cancer that saved your life more than 20 years ago. Maybe you could tell us about that.
I'd love to share. And the reason I say that cancer saved my life was, had I not been diagnosed with cancer, who knows 20 years hence where I would be today. And the timing was perfect for me, divine intervention, whatever you want to call it. But I knew in my heart of hearts, when I was given the diagnosis, that I was going to beat it. I had no idea how, because I knew nothing about health and healing and nutrition. I had no idea. I was just sort of like mainstream. And the research I did, without any medical intervention, drugs, or surgery, I was cancer-free a year later.
Yay! All right.
So it was mindset, and I implemented some lifestyle changes connecting the physical, the mental, and the emotional systems of the body. And so that applies to any dis-ease, because otherwise we are not in ease.
That's absolutely right. And so the mindset, it's so amazing, as a man thinketh, as the way, you set your day. Really, it's amazing how you can create the world in which you live. So what kind of mindset, what kind of techniques did you implement to be able to create the healing energy that helped you?
Well, probably very important, most people don't realize, is that any emotional traumas we have experienced as children manifest in ourselves. They stay as memory in ourselves. So there's this well-known quiz called the ACE quiz that came out more than 30 years ago. 10 questions, traumas you experienced between the ages of 3 and 18. Verbal, sexual, emotional abuse from your father. He was a drunk, he got kicked out of home, sort of things like that. And the more yeses you have, it has been proven it escalates your possibility, your chances very significantly of getting things like cancer, heart disease, diabetes, and it has been shown that it does escalate Alzheimer's. So important emotional traumas, we all have them. And some of us, they really rule our lives, and some of them are not so significant, but we really have to address them. So that was really probably paramount in my life, number one.
So these questions cause you to go inside and look at what happened, and I can relate to that. I've actually had, and we all have, like you said, everybody's had something traumatic. That's actually how we grow, if we know how to process it right. And sometimes those things that happened when you were 5 years old, I didn't really even see mine till midlife. So what kind of questions are you asking? What are these questions?
Well, you know, what emotional experiences or negative experiences have you had when you were a child? But we start small. This exercise that I do is, emotional triggers that aren't very traumatic in the last 6 months, 8 months, whatever. And then you sort of move deeper into later on in life that were more traumatic. And the process that I use, we dig deep and we eliminate those traumas without traumatizing and without revocalizing. And like Tony Robbins says, if you scratch the record, those memories will come back. The process that I use is I break up the record so it will never come back. And
That's great. Yeah. And it doesn't, sometimes you can get a whiff of it, but it does have to be, initiated. The process or triggered or something to get the brain to remember, because we've all buried those things. They're uncomfortable. They're not happy. The challenges, whatever they were when we were young, and to bring those out. So you actually have a process that you work with people on that allows them to walk through that, not like, you're the psychologist or anything, but an actual thing where they're actually healing themselves. Is that right?
that is absolutely true. You were never traumatized, and that you never vocalized that memory. It's all done in your mind, and there's just different steps, and it works absolutely beautifully. So, it's just like you want to start with a clean slate. Okay, we've gotten rid of the trauma. So, what's the next step that's holding me back from preventing me from having the best health ever?
So do you actually, once you go through the process of finding the traumas, then do you replace them with other things, or do you have a process now that you can walk out of that to re-engage into, the positive side of the whole thing?
Yeah, you always replace with something positive. So, a positive memory, a good feeling, and you anchor it. So, whenever you're in the little least triggered about by something after the fact, you just hold your forefinger and your thumb together, or your index finger and your thumb together, and you just think of that really feel good space where I was loved, I was accepted, where I was at peace, and it's just absolutely beautiful. It's just unbelievable how well it works. That's all I can say.
It's amazing because we really do have everything inside of us to heal and be made new inside and outside, and learning how to do that. I do a little thing when I get up in the morning and before I go to bed. I think of 5 things that I'm grateful for, and before I go to bed. And it changes the energy that I walk into the day. I step into the miracle. I expect a miracle. And that energy opens the door. All of a sudden they appear. So you kind of get what you look for. But most of us have been born into, a darkened state of mind where we're not at our highest level. Like human is kind of like what we're supposed to be, which is light, really. So we got to get into the process of learning how to use that. So what other techniques do you use to help yourself align?
If I may add to the things that you said you're grateful for, I would also uh, add to that, and why.
Oh, yeah, there you go. And why? Because it isn't just thank you very much, I'm happy. It's not like positive affirmation. It's a connection. Like when you say you're grounded, you're not just thinking it, but you're feeling like, wow, I'm so grateful for, my friend. And you feel how they help you, or you feel, all the things you're grateful for, right? That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You become one with it. So it's not just a thought going through your brain. I'm happy. I'm happy. Like people do affirmations, and they can't stay with them, and they don't really last long. And you have to become one with it, right?
Right, exactly. I really stress having meaning and purpose in your life.
Oh
What are
yeah.
your drivers? What gets you up in the morning that you're excited about, motivated about? Whose lives can you change, um, make an impact, teach, motivate? Um, it's the feel good hormones, it's the positivity, because unfortunately our world is so full of negative. Everything is negative. Even in negativity, there's still something to be grateful for. It may be a lesson learned, it may be a new direction you found out
That's
that you
right.
should be taking, just like with my cancer. That's why it saved my life, because I changed the direction of my life.
It is. It's the power of purpose. I wrote a song called "The Power of Purpose," and it really. I mean, that's what we're here for. To be significant, to help other people, and the purpose of being able to help other people get you out of bed in the morning, get you excited. Like literally, I'm working retired. I literally could just retire, but I feel like I have gifts and blessing over the last 32 years of my practice to help empower people with health, wealth, and peace of mind. So I can't just sit back under the palm tree. I want everybody to sit back under the palm tree. So that purpose gives you the energy, right, to change lives.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. Like, for me, retire from what? Retire from life. We still have a lot of years of productivity. By the time you're 60, you may be just midlife. You may have another 50, 60 years to go. So, I say to people, what do you want to be remembered for when you die? you know
Right,
not There's nothing
right.
wrong with being the perfect grandmother or the good husband or whatever, but what message, what gift, what skill can you take out to the world to inspire somebody to continue that?
Exactly. And everybody has such a gift. I mean, like different flowers. Each person has their own fragrance or their own look about them. And if everybody is themselves, then we pollinate. We pollinate with each other because everybody is really their true self, and then they'll be able to share those gifts and help other people. That, to me, that's my paycheck. When I feel like I'm helping other people, that I take with me, that little special joy that I'm grateful for, right?
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. One of the ways that um, daily practice in gratitude is I approach strangers at the dog park, at the grocery store, at the ATM machine, and I say, can I put a chuckle in your heart? And by that I mean, can I share a joke? Why a joke? Behind every face is a story. Maybe you lost a loved one, maybe you lost your job, maybe you're having problems at home with your children. And so for 2 minutes, I have a captive audience. They laugh out loud. It feeds my soul. It lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, and it raises endorphins, the feel good hormones in your brain. And they may ruminate it about all day and share with a loved one. You know what? I met this crazy woman at the dog park. She shared a joke, but it was really good.
Right.
And laughter promotes longevity. It has been proven. Children laugh 600 to 800 times a day. We laugh a mere 60.
Whoa, that's interesting. That makes sense. Laughter, right? That's amazing. And it's true because I find too, as I've changed that. I had a little wild happy bunny that became my friend, and I realized how I was loving this living creature, which they're all our friends. I realized that, you know, we were really hard on ourselves, and if you could laugh when you fail, right? Well, I did that again. Okay, good lesson. It changes it. It changes it so you can laugh your way through. It's a different energy than anger, right? We all have to deal with that anger thing that comes up, but you can be able to laugh your at yourself, learn the lesson, and then it goes to a higher level that actually catapults you into a different dimension, right?
That's right. And you just feel so much more alive. You've got more energy. You're
Yeah,
inspired. You want to keep on going.
right. What other kind of things do you do to get your memory in line with your reality?
Very important every day to practice mental, social, and mindful and mental, emotional, and social skills. By mindful, I mean practice some kind of mind game, something that stimulates your your brain cells. It could be gardening, it could be ballroom dancing, it could be playing chess, it could be crocheting, it could be working in your garden, it could be writing that book. Stimulate
Right.
that mind cells because they really do feed longevity. And then by physical, I mean, we besides the physical exercise we need every day, balance is extremely important. Really easy exercise. If you stand with your 2 feet side by side, bend one leg at the knee and hold it for as long as you can. And you aim to try to do it for 30 seconds without falling over. It's going to take you a while, but I promise you, if you do it every day, you will improve. Then you repeat with the other leg, and then you repeat the same exercise with your eyes closed. That is a little more challenging, but it
Right.
helps balance so we don't slip, fall down the stairs, slip on the ice. And then social. We're social beings. We need to connect to be in a community. Start your own, belong to a bridge club, a knitting club, go in the community, invite people over for dinner. With the last 2 years, people connected through Zoom, but we need that physical interaction.
Absolutely, absolutely, and you're so right. My daddy, he was going to live to 100, and it's just longevity is inside of our family. And he was a genius. Was a Caltech and studied under Einstein, and he was in his 90s. He was doing puzzles. He was reading the newspaper. He was taking his walks. He was working. He worked till 91. He would have kept working, but he fell and had never been sick. Went to the hospital and got pneumonia. And the doctor said, well, you only got a few days left. And it was like, no, you don't know. And he ended up going another 6. But I see, because of the way he looked at life and the way he handled himself, he kept active, he kept moving. And the big part of our generation, population right now are boomers, right? There's more boomers, more people moving into that. Don't be tricked if you're younger, because it goes really fast. Life goes really fast. So if you start implementing what Alexi is talking about now, then you'll be able to live to 120, right?
Exactly. You don't want to start being proactive when you're 60, because when you are
Right.
diagnosed with dementia, your brain has already atrophied 60 to 80%. So dementia starts in your 20s and 30s based again on lifestyle habits. Just like arthritis is inflammation of the bones, heart disease is inflammation of the heart, dementia is inflammation of the brain. So what are the markers that we want to reduce so we don't have that inflammation?
That's a really good point. That's it right there. Start early. It's just the same thing I talk about. We're talking about health is wealth. And then in my other conversations where I talk about, healthy money, you start early, because most people that come to my office, they're going to start their retirement plan. They come in at 50, 60, and 70 and don't wait. And it's not, there's no judgment, because nobody's been taught, right? Nobody's taught about health, really. And nobody's really taught about health, wealth, safe money, and things like that. So it's symbiotic, because it's all just energy. Money is just energy. Same with health. So you get that pattern and that momentum. You can alter life and change things. And you have a really good program that you're working with people on. Maybe you could share a little bit about that.
Well, I have a quiz that's available on my app. Are you at risk for dementia? 15 questions, basically lifestyle habits. So then based on that, I have a personalized platform, for individuals based on the markers that are the weakest for you. We want to up them, because there's just so many causes of any illness. So we want to, maximize the health of your body in every possible way.
I just being transparent here, when I got in my midlife and I had aunts and uncles that had dementia and, a lot of brain things, and I had a lot of head injuries besides a pituitary tumor, it made me really wonder what's going to happen here, right? And I wanted to do preventative medicine. And at the time, I went to the Amen Clinic and had one of those,
Excellent.
Amen
Excellent.
brain scans, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I met Dr. Amen. I had Tana Amen on one of my shows. And it was a really great experience. And it gave me peace of mind because I didn't have the signs of dementia where I could have really easily. And, little ADHD and things like that everybody's got. But just things that I could tweak by my lifestyle, by what I'm eating. And it's amazing. I actually feel that the older I get, the younger I feel. And so, I'm vegan and it's a health lifestyle, but I'm not doing it for health. I do it for peace, no killing. But that's not the point. The point is being proactive from wherever you're at. You're not, following me or following even what you're doing. It's actually, these are techniques that have been around a long time. And you're just bringing them forth in clarity so people can learn about it for themselves and take control of their own life and their health, right?
That's right, because we are the ones that are in charge of our health, bottom line. Do we pay as much attention to our health as we do to the maintenance of a car?
Right.
Just really give it some thought. We have to change the oil pressure,
exactly.
the oil, the windshield wipers. We do that diligently without thinking about it. So what steps are you doing for daily or weekly maintenance for your brake?
Right. That's great. Well, we could go on and on forever here, but I really want to make sure that everybody gets, where do they go to find you and get that quiz?
Okay, well, you go to Whole Health, https wholehealth.ca/free sessions, and it's in that link. You'll see the quiz, and then you can book a free session with me for follow up. It's complimentary, and we can take it from there.
Free session complimentary. That's worth it right there to just dial it in so you know where you're going with it. And we'll have the link below, in the chat below, so you'll be able to reach out and connect and find out what's going on. So, Alexi, thank you so much for sharing your blessings with everybody. And I'm really glad that you were able to join us today.
Well, thank you so much. And if I may, just in closing, I'd like to put a chuckle in everybody's heart.
Okay, cool.
So a lady takes her 4-year-old daughter to deliver meals to seniors who are shut-ins. And the little girl is totally fascinated by all the equipment these seniors have, the wheelchairs, the walkers, the canes. And one day she notices a set of dentures sitting in a glass of water. And she's just mesmerized by it. And she keeps on staring at it and staring at it. And finally she says to her mother, "The tooth fairy's never going to believe this one."
That's good. That's good. Do you have a joke book too?
I'm thinking about it because I have so many jokes, and
that would be good
with everybody, service providers on the telephone because maybe they've had a bad day.
Right.
It's just everybody needs to laugh more because it feeds longevity.
Exactly. And, I can never think of a joke. And that's really a cool thing to, if you're not feeling like laughing, that you can always pull one out of the hat. So I'm glad you shared that. Thank you so much. And again, give everybody your link one more time.
wholehealthacademy.ca/free sessions.
All right. Thank you so much. And
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. There's so much to learn about healthy money. I hope today's discussion brings you one step closer to securing and protecting your future. So you can get started on the right foot, go to meetwithkrismiller.com and schedule your free financial fitness strategy session. Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to Money 911 so you don't miss our next episode, which includes health, wealth, and peace of mind.